Hey guys, and welcome to another live wood turning. We're going to be making some Christmas ornaments just like we were yesterday. Uh, for those of you who may have seen me try and go live a minute ago, I apologize. I don't know what happened. I kind of lost signal, so we're trying it again. But yeah, if you haven't seen the other two videos that I've made, then I'll just go ahead and go over real quick. We're doing these Christmas ornaments. We're making them out of some reclaimed wood from a local building here in town, here in my town, Mayfield, Kentucky. There was a little bit of damage that got done to this older building, so they tore down a portion of it, and that's where this wood came from, basically. So just figured I'd tell you guys that. I don't know if it's new people watching or the same people. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so basically, I spent the majority of the morning. Let me get your camera set up here. Yeah, my shop's a mess. So if you see that, sorry. Let's see here. That looks about right. Maybe I'll turn it this way. Yeah, that seems pretty good. So anyway, I spent the majority of the morning cutting up these blanks, cutting them into squares like this, and then I spent the rest of the morning turning them all around just to save a little bit of time. That way I don't have to switch between my live centers and my chuck all the time. So that's what I've been doing. I've still got about 20 more of these left to do, so I got quite a bit of work still. But I can show you guys a couple of these that I've done today. You've seen the picture if you've seen the thumbnail for them, but here's a couple of them that I've made today, a little bit different than the ones I was making yesterday. Here's this one here. I like it. Some pretty cool. It's pretty neat looking because it's got all these dark spots and these cracks that are showing up. So that's pretty neat. I like the little stuff like that shows up. We're going to probably make one similar to this one or something like this just to make it real simple today. Something along these lines. Here's another one that's pretty similar to that. I like this one pretty well. I may do something like that on the bottom again. I've not done that in a little while. But yeah, so there's a couple of the ornaments that I've been turning here. You've seen them all here and there, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and get these out of the way now, and we'll start on this new one as soon as I can move these. All right, now we got those out of the way. So I'm going to bring up the tailstock here just to kind of help line it up. I've used I'll show you guys this here. It's a center finding jig. So if you're planning on getting a lathe or if you have one, I definitely suggest getting one of these because it's super handy. Because this wood was really rough and nothing was square on it basically. So ended up having to just you put a bunch of lines in each corner basically. You put it in each corner and draw a line and then find the center of those lines. And that tells you where the center of the mass of it is. So I did that and I used an awl to go ahead and mark the centers. And that's where I ended up putting it all between centers. And if you're doing a lot like I was, you're money ahead to sit here and do all of them at once like I've been doing. I cut all the blanks down. I went ahead and marked everything out, put the hole in the center here of it and everything. And then I turned them all around just because it saves a lot of time in the long run. And also, whenever you go to put your spur drive on, well, I don't have it on there, I'll show you. But you got to hammer it in real nice so it leaves the side that was facing this way. So that way, if you had plans for it or whatever, I don't know. I'm just talking now. Don't even worry about it, guys. We'll just get to turning. I'm not real good at the live stuff. But the only way to get better is to do it, right? That's my theory, at least. But yeah, the main reason that we have the tailstock here, because we're going to take it away pretty quick, is just to make sure we line it up and to make sure that this is lined up straight. Because if you don't have that lined up where it's nice and even, it could get cockeyed one or the other, and you lose a lot of material that way. Also, it's a lot harder to turn when it's really at a crazy angle. I've done a lot of turning like that, and it comes out pretty neat if you're doing it on purpose. But if you're not, that's a completely different story. But we're going to start this like we do pretty much any of them. I always start from the very end over here. I get it turned down pretty decent right here and try and get any flat spots out, like this big flat spot right here. But I mean, for the most part, this one ain't too bad. I'll get all that done real quick, and then I'll take away the center or the tailstock, so that way I can go ahead and get this down to a nice point because I think it looks good that way. Some people may do it differently, but I personally think it looks good that way. If you agree with me, then you can leave a comment or whatever, Let me know what you're feeling. I'm going to try and move this here a little bit. That looks a little more center right there. All right. Here we go. Get all my safety gear on real quick. All right. Got all this tightened up. Something along there. Looks good to me. We'll go ahead and start turning now. Let's see here. That ain't too bad. We'll go ahead and fix it a little bit and tone it down. If you missed the last couple of videos, I'm using a block of paraffin wax as a finish. It seals it nice and it gives it that nice darker glow like this, as you can see. And it makes it feel a lot smoother. Since these are Christmas ornaments, they don't need to have any specific, I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. Too far with my glasses here. Alright, back to it. just finish up the top up here. I'm pretty close to done. go ahead and part this off and fix the top up, and this one here will be pretty well done. All right. We're going to turn that at a low RPM. Get our skew ready. Get a mark made real quick. Okay. Oh, let me take some of that. All right. Sand the top of this one, and this one here will be pretty well done. At some point, I'm going to have to go into town and get some more eyelets. I ran out. End up just rubbing some of this wax on the top here to help seal that wood up. And just doing it by hand here a little bit. It ain't going to shine up as nice, but that's the very top of it where that eyelet's going to be anyway. It's mainly just to protect the wood up here, because this is where your ribbon or whatever you end up using it to hang from the tree ends up being. So there's this one here. I may go ahead and do another one. I mean, I'm going to be doing them anyway, but I may go ahead and do another one while I've got y'all here, because I've already got it set up. Why not, right? Heck with it. This one didn't take quite as long as the other two did, so the other two I've done. Maybe we can knock another one out. Like I said, I've got about 20 more of these I've got to do. Maybe a little more than that, actually. And I've got some pretty rough ones. I'm going to try and make something out of them, too. We'll just kind of see how those turn out. Those are the ones I kind of did one the last time where it was kind of a little weird, but these are a lot smaller. These are much, much smaller, so they're going to be harder to mess with, which is why I'm not planning on doing one while I'm doing a live video. But I've got some that are where it's real big on one side here, and then it drops down to pretty much nothing down here in the corner. If I trim up some of these little pieces here, I could be able to get a small little icicle style one out of it. It won't be very big, but I could make something out of them, I think. Definitely going to give it a try at least. All right, let's see. always like to stop and check these when I do the ends because sometimes a chunk of it will come off. I've had it happen a couple times and I ended up having to make them a lot smaller than I really wanted to. It's always good to check. You know the old saying, measure twice, cut once. Kind of like that. Except don't put finish on something if it ain't done. That's what I'm going with. This is probably my favorite part every time I put that finish on here. That wax, because it just brings out that color like that. I love it. The higher RPM you put it on, the quicker you get that too. Less pressure, so if it's real thin, Alright, so it looks like I've got a couple of nail holes and some chunks here that are missing, so I'm going to have to turn that down pretty small to get rid of some of that. I've got to be careful that it looks like there's a crack running here, and it runs right into that hole. So we'll kind of see how that works out. If it goes in too deep, then I won't be able to thin this down too much. That's the only thing. On things like that, you kind of got to take your time and make sure you're not going to mess something up, because if all that breaks off, then all that work was for nothing. Alright. Got a little more on them chunks. That hole, I could probably turn that out, actually. If I want to get it down thinner. I may do that. Alright, we're down past that, so I'll just kind of smooth that out, I think, on that transition. I'm going to get rid of this stuff here, and then I may try to actually plan this out a little more. I may want to make something round up here. When I try to make it round, I've got to actually plan it out, because otherwise it ends up being kind of funky looking. that ain't looking too bad. Go ahead and sand and finish that part down here. That way I can just mess with this section up here now. I can keep up with my sandpaper. The problem with little chunks like this and a bunch of sawdust, you can misplace things easily. If you've got the option, it's really nice if you can put your reverse in, if you can put your lathe in reverse and sand it backwards if you have the option. The only problem with that, at least with this specific chuck, is that it doesn't actually lock down on here. So if you put too much pressure on it, it could fling up. So you don't want to do that. I can't do this when I'm turning bowls. But for little spindles and stuff like this, little Christmas ornaments, it's not too bad, because it shoots the dust that way instead of directly in your face. And it also gives you, like if there's holes or burrs or something, it gives you the opportunity to sand both sides of it to make it smoother. If you go back and forth, it kind of smooths it out a lot faster and a lot easier. In the drawer, so they don't lose it. All right. Alright, let's see if I can find a pencil real quick. Alright, so if we're going to make this round, oh, I got to get rid of that first. Never mind. In just a minute. That's got the majority of it going. I can work with that. Alright, what do I do? Alright, pencil. Now then, I could either make this the center of the round part and just kind of do a little circle, or I can make a larger oval maybe, or maybe do a bead over here and then start the round. Maybe what we do. Let's see here. That can be the center of it. It can be where I need a taper to. That can be a bead and where I taper to as well. All right. All right, that smoothed that fairly well. Uh, what do you guys think? Go ahead and try to do the same thing on the other side or taper that down to more like a teardrop. I haven't quite decided. I've done it a lot on the other ones, so I don't know if I want to keep them all the same or anything. I don't know. Let's see here. Go ahead and sand this down. All right, we got our rounded part here. We still got our line. Let me think here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to replicate that same radius, so it may end up tapering down anyway. We may do it that way. That way we can slowly thin it down to something for the top, you know. Yeah, let's do it that way. Sounds like a chunk flew off of there. Yeah, chunk come out of there. That good. We really got to taper that a lot. It's got that out pretty well. All right, straighten that out a little better. that ain't bad. Ah, dadgummit. There's a chunk to come out of there. Yep, I got to work on that a little more then. Get that buffed out real quick up to here. See how far we got to take it down. Kind of like that shape. Yeah. That ain't got it all, dang. Just a little more, maybe. There's just a little bit showing. I'll do just a little bit more. think we're just going to part it off up here maybe. Well, the top of that ended up being smaller than I wanted it to be, but when it breaks off like that or a chunk comes off for no apparent reason, when you're using older reclaimed wood like that, it happens. Heck, even in newer wood, it happens. There we go. All right, so there's our other ornament. The bottom of it looked pretty neat. The top of it would have looked a lot better had that chunk not come off. But I think it'll look all right. It looks all right. Now we're just gonna take our awl and mark us a spot to put our eyelet once we go back to town and get some. It makes it a lot easier whenever you put them eyelets in. If you have a little awl mark there, that way it'll actually sit down into there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this live video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I may end up doing another one tomorrow. Kind of depends on how things work out, I guess. I've definitely got a lot more of these to turn. So if you guys are interested, I could do that. If not, then I may not. Whatever. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, have a good day, guys. Take it easy.